How does today's culture, sociologically, does that play into our thoughts, our beliefs, and how we experience or don't experience miracles? Meaning, there's probably a lot more miracles that we would read about than we experience today. And why would that be? My name is Jeff Moores. I am a lead pastor, church planter, Bible teacher, leadership coach. Okay, and now for fun, I did this, is I asked ChatGPT, why sociologically, or are there reasons sociologically why we don't see or experience many miracles today? Is there some key factors as to the lack of miracles, healing, signs, wonders that we experience? And I would say that we experience far less in the United States than they do in other nations. When I've gone into Africa, when I've been to the Philippines, there's a greater desperation, there's a greater need, which maybe increases a greater faith and maybe more of an openness to the supernatural. So we see them much more. But what is it about today? What is it about now? So I asked ChatGPT, and this is what ChatGPT said. So the rise of secularism and rationalism. So the scientific worldview, the Enlightenment and subsequent scientific revolutions shifted the dominant worldview from one rooted in faith and mystery to one grounded in reason, evidence, and natural explanations. Many people now attribute phenomena that might once have been seen as miraculous to natural causes. So is this part of, like, I see so many people who get saved and they carry this into their faith. So this becomes part of their faith, is this idea of a scientific worldview, which is interesting. The more you read the Bible, the more that you see, like, the Bible has already talked about it before science ever thought about it. So that's a whole nother thing. Then secularization, right? As societies have become more secular, the supernatural has been regulated to the margins. Miracles are often viewed with skepticism, or as events that require scientific validation to be considered credible. I love it. Includes impact. Modern people are conditioned to dismiss, downplay miracles because they don't fit neatly into a rational framework. And I've seen this in the church. When something crazy happens, somebody makes fun of it. They try to explain it away, as opposed to just going, wow, God showed up and did an amazing thing. Second, just like we talked about in Matthew, familiarity breeds complacency. Overexposure to wonders. So in the ancient world, access to knowledge and technology was limited, so events like healing, provision, or natural wonders were far more extraordinary. In contrast, modern society has constant access to information, advanced medicine, technology that can replicate what would have been considered miraculous. I mean, even thinking about what we're doing right now, we're watching a video, there's multiple screens, all this stuff would have been like, this is magic, this is the dark arts, whatever it is, right? But we're able to do this. And I think the more that we have seen crazy stuff like this, we become more complacent, right? So a modern surgery or natural disaster warning system might seem routine to us, but in biblical times, these events would have been seen as divine interventions. When everything feels explainable or replicable, it's harder to maintain a sense of awe. Very true. Now, there's a hyper focus on the ordinary. So individualism, modern cultures, particularly in the West, which is where I live. I actually live in the West of the West in California. Modern cultures, particularly in the West, emphasize individualism and personal achievement. This focus on the self can crowd out acknowledgement of God's hand in daily life, which you lose spiritual perspective. Many people have lost the habit of looking for the spiritual in the ordinary. Acts of generosity, healing, or natural beauty that might once have been seen as God's work are now often seen as human effort or coincidence, meaning it is still God doing it, but we just look at it that way. We see it as like some sort of human thing. Over-reliance on institutions. So in like a centralization of faith, in many ways, faith has become institutionalized. The church, structures, traditions taking precedence over even sometimes scripture, or allowing religion to take precedence over a personal encounter with God. This can create passive faith, where people expect clergy or leaders to experience God on their behalf. Yes, very, very true. People want their pastors to learn for them. People want their pastors. Again, we're shepherds, whatnot. We feed the flock, but eventually we need to become self-feeding when it comes to Scripture. We need to be understanding that, like the pastors, apostles, pastors, prophets, teachers, evangelists, they're there to train and equip the people to do the work. And I talk about that actually in the message. But there's a cultural shift in perception of awe, a disenchantment of the world. Philosopher Max Weber, don't know who he is, so can't co-sign him, referred to the disenchantment of the world as a process where modern stuff strips away the sense of mystery and wonder from life. People are less likely to interpret events as miraculous because they've rationalized the world. Kind of said that already. ChatGPT, entertainment saturation. Today's culture is saturated with entertainment, media, and instant gratification. Oof. So, I mean, that plays into it too, right? If I don't get my healing right away, where's God in all this? I didn't get my answers to prayer like right now. Where's God in all this? But movies, technology, and virtual realities offer awe-inspiring experiences on demand, leaving people less sensitive to genuine spiritual encounters. Man, ChatGPT is kind of doing it right now, huh? When awe is artificially manufactured, real awe becomes harder to recognize. Historical and theological distance. People often feel removed from the world of the Bible, where miracles seemed more frequent and tangible. Also, too, not very many people have a biblical worldview anymore. Most of the church doesn't even have a biblical worldview anymore. So for them to even expect miracles, some believe miracles only happened in the early church or are confined to the past. We talked about that with cessationists. Modern theology. Some theological traditions de-emphasize miracle, the miraculous. Yep, hit that. Focusing instead on moral teachings or social justice. There's been a big social justice move where it's like we do good and we don't even preach the gospel. People just see that we are good and they'll want to know then, where does this come from? No, you preach the gospel while you do the acts of the gospel. I like that though. The impact. If people don't expect miracles, they're less likely to see them. Cynicism and distrust. Ooh, fake miracles and scandals. For a long time, that was kind of a big deal. And it's still coming. It's still happening today. Oh, this is terrible. Where people will fake the miraculous. They will fake spiritual gifts in order, ultimately that comes down to a selfishness to make themselves great. And what are signs, wonders, and miracles for? To point to God. High-profile religious leaders or organizations that have fabricated miracles or fallen into scandal have eroded public trust in the supernatural. Many people are weary and wary of being deceived, leading them to dismiss miracles altogether. Cultural cynicism. Modern society often glorifies skepticism. Very true. We see it in our colleges everywhere. Skepticism, with doubt seen as a sign of intelligence. How true that is, right? Especially today, huh? Belief in miracles is frequently dismissed as naive or irrational. Cynicism can harden hearts and blind people to miraculous. A spiritual heart problem. Ooh, let's go. Jesus often linked miracles to faith, saying your faith has made you well. In societies where faith is weak or absent, the environment may not be as conducive to experiencing the miraculous. And a focus on self. Modern life emphasizes self-sufficiency, which can diminish dependence on God. 100%. We love to be independent. We're self-made people. Lack of faith or spiritual awareness can prevent people from seeing the miraculous even when it occurs. I like this. Here's the conclusion to restore all. Cultivate faith, embrace the mystery. Come on, rediscover gratitude and expect God to move. ChatGPT nailed it there. Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your thoughts, your thoughts, your beliefs. What do you think about healing? Have you ever experienced a healing? Be sure to like and comment and subscribe for more content. Please let me know. This can be a controversial topic. I would love to know where you sit. I would love to know what you think. I would love to hear your questions, and I will do my best to respond to all of them. Again, my name is Jeff Moores. Be sure to subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time.